Welcome to Supervisors Meeting, Monday, August 11th, 2025. First item on the agenda is to call the meeting to order, and second item is to review the agenda.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Got a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 3, public hearing. We're entering a public hearing on proposed plan specifications, form of contract, and cost estimate for the Muscatine County downtown parking lots and sidewalks. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to speak? Seeing nobody.
We want to give a brief overview of it. And we did that already prior, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just give a brief overview of the project, Brad, if you would.
Yep. So the project is removal and replacement of pavement at the parking lot on the kind of the northeast side of the jail, and also sidewalk along Walnut and sidewalk in front of the old jail on 4th Street. So there's no new paved area, just removing, replacing what's there, but it's failing now, so that's the reason for replacement.
How far down is the sidewalk replacement on 4th? Because they had all the yard damage. It's
gonna go,
On Walnut, you mean?
yeah.
on Walnut down
Oh,
to the
sorry.
new project. From the alley between the jail and the public safety building.
Oh, okay.
All the way down to the new project, which was that south entrance. And then on
Okay.
4th, it'll be from Mulberry west to the kind of the west edge of the old jail.
So yeah, it picks up that damaged spot that was damaged during the panel project. And then I'll add, the city is gonna partner with us on this one on the 4th Street side replacement. They're gonna go ahead and pay for, by reimbursement, the new curb on 4th Street as well. So that's in Brad's design. So the sidewalk's ours, the curb's part of the street, but
Okay.
it had several sections that were pretty bad. So we talked to the city and they agreed to pay for that portion of redoing. So we have not just a new sidewalk, but a new curb there. Didn't make a lot of sense, a new sidewalk and curb without curbs.
And that's in front of the old jail, and
Yeah.
are we doing work on the courthouse side too, or is that's in pretty good
There's a
shape?
couple little panels that were damaged, or it had some pre-existing damage, got a little worse. 1 or 2 little panels yet while they're mobilized up along the service ramp off 4th Street that'll be replaced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody heard, you didn't hear anything from anybody?
No.
We're all, and
And then you're gonna put this out on a plan room, Brad, or,
Yes.
and then do you also send to any locals?
Yeah, we'll email, the local contractors if anybody's, would like to be included, please email me. My email's on the notice to bidders, but, we'll include the local contractors who would normally bid this type of work as well as plan rooms.
Yeah, okay. Very good. So
Yeah.
seeing nobody, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
A second.
okay. We got a motion and a second. This is a roll call vote to end the public hearing. Scott?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I vote aye, and Kurt.
Aye.
Okay. An extension of item 3 here, it looks like discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 08-11-25-01, approving plan specifications, form of contract, cost estimate for the Muscatine County downtown parking lots and sidewalk project.
I'll move the approval.
I'll second.
Got a first and a second. Again, this is a roll call vote. Scott?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I vote aye. Kurt?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Item number 4, public hearing on proposed amendments on the Muscatine County zoning ordinance relating to accessory dwelling units. And Eric's gonna share, that's a new state law that just went into effect July 1st, right, Eric?
Correct. Senate File 592 was signed into law, went into effect July 1. Basically requires cities and counties to allow accessory dwelling units anywhere there is an existing primary single-family dwelling. So the zoning commission held a public hearing on this because while there's certain parts of the state law that are mandated, there's a couple points that we can regulate and kind of modify to our own liking. So the zoning commission discussed this. We've got the definition of, in our proposed ordinance, as you can see, I think you have all the draft ordinance. We're amending the part of our ordinance that prohibits any detached accessory structure in the rear of any main building from being used for, previously we had a prohibition that you couldn't take up residency in a detached garage or shed in the backyard space. That will remain in place except for accessory dwelling units that are defined and regulated herein. So if someone wants to actually construct a accessory dwelling unit in the rear space, they can, but it has to be permitted and approved as such.
Okay, I was wondering what that language confused me a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
so basically you can't just establish residency without going through the process of making it meet the definition of an accessory dwelling.
So if I have a shed in my backyard, I can't just move into it and call it an accessory
Right.
dwelling. It has to meet building codes then.
Right, basically it has to meet building code, yep. And a couple other little things that we are allowed to regulate. State code provides that every city and county must allow at least one accessory dwelling unit. The zoning commission recommendation is that we cap it at one per platted lot or per primary dwelling. There has to be a primary dwelling on the lot for this to be considered an accessory dwelling unit, but we kind of looked and discussed what we believe the intent of the law was. The main sponsor of the bill and push, and people that were big proponents of it was AARP. So we think that it was to provide a mechanism for people to move their aging parents onto their property. The zoning commission felt it was appropriate to limit it at one per dwelling, so we don't have a primary dwelling and then 5 or 6 rental properties trying to be squeezed onto one.
So it would be lot or parcel.
If there's, yes, lot or parcel, if there's an existing primary dwelling on it.
And it would have to be freestanding in a sense of septic and so on and so forth, is that correct?
So it has to be served by an approved on-site private septic system. So there are some options. If you construct a new home, for example, and your intent at the same time is to build an accessory dwelling unit for your parents, say, you could design a septic system that can serve both. Otherwise, if they have an existing dwelling, existing septic that's not sized appropriately, they'll have to put their own separate septic in. We left it open to do either way if they wanted to.
Sure.
We wanted to put that in there, and that, it just reinforces our on-site wastewater code that requires any dwelling with interior plumbing. We wanted to put that in there, that gives us the authority to look at what they have and determine whether it's sized and designed appropriately to add another dwelling on. So, they can share, in short, they could share, or they could have 2 separate systems, but it has to be approved by our office.
It'd be an individual situation, it'd be evaluated as such.
And well would be the same way.
Yeah, it's easy to, most wells can take on a little bit more, and it doesn't become a public water supply system, so.
At what point does it become a public water supply?
15 service connections or serving at least 25 people or more 6 months or more out of the year. So these should never trigger it to become a DNR regulated public water supply. We also are limiting accessory dwelling units to 1,000 square feet or 50% of the total gross living area square footage of the existing. So 1,000 square feet, but if you happen to have 5,000 square foot house, you can have up to 2,500 square feet for the accessory dwelling unit. That's right from state code language as well. The zoning commission is recommending that we don't place a size limit on the garage that's attached. So if someone wanted to build a barn dominium out in the country and put 1,000 square feet of living area in it for their parents, they could do that. Kind of consistent with our discussions on accessory sheds in the front yard. Homeowners associations are given, even in state code, are given the authority to further regulate these. So the zoning commission out in the country felt like, why would we regulate the size of the garage or the shed that they put one on? So that was their recommendation, and then obviously the last part was the private sewage disposal.
Are you hearing a lot of people reach out since July 1st in regards to this?
We've had some people, realtors, developers that have asked some questions, and I said, well, we're gonna work on adopting the small part that we can regulate locally on these, but I think there's some interest. Part of it, I think, just the cost of building is gonna limit people from trying to put 6 or 7 of these up, even if we hadn't limited at one. I think it's pretty expensive. New construction is still pretty high, so, but there's a lot of interest still in bringing parents or a child that needs some care onto the property. So I don't really have a sense of how busy it'll be, you know, like, but.
We are in a public hearing. Anybody from the public like to speak in regards to this?
Did we get any feedback, Gary?
No.
Doesn't look like we have anybody.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second. We got a first and a second. This is a roll call vote to end, close the public hearing. Scott?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I vote aye. Kurt?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Discussion and possible action to approve the ordinance amending the Muscatine County zoning ordinance relating to accessory dwelling units on the first of 3 readings.
I'll move the approval.
No, second.
Got a first and a second. Again, this is a roll call vote. Scott?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I vote aye, and Kurt.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Item 5 with County Attorney Jim Barry. Item A, discussion and possible action authorizing the chair to sign an agreement with Scott County for juvenile detention services.
Good morning. Based on the meeting we had a couple of weeks ago, I did reach back out to Scott County, sent them some markups to the contract they provided. They were fine with those markups, and I think it's set to go to their board on the 14th or 15th sometime this week. So I wanted to get it back on the agenda today so the board could approve someone here to sign it. Once we received a signed copy from Scott County, it would become effective the date that Scott County signs it, which would be the 14th or 15th. So the previous month and a half of this fiscal year wouldn't be included in the cost. It would just pick up when we sign off on it here. So that's, just wanted to get it on the agenda based on our previous conversation.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
I move the approval.
I'll second.
We got a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Nothing else, Jim?
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Item 6, discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the August 4th, 2025 regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Got a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Item 7, correspondence. Scott?
The only thing that I had was, and we all were involved, I believe, on Tuesday the 5th, the Farm Bureau steak fry event, and the conversation that comes from that meeting, and I thought that went real well. Other than that, that's all I had.
Yeah, I attended that as well on the 5th, and that was all I had.
I attended that steak dinner with you guys, and I thought it went pretty good. There was a lot of information shared. It's always a pretty interesting meeting, I think, and helps them with their lobby efforts to help us going forward with the state legislation. So,
I missed that. I was at the state fair. Sorry.
you have a good time?
Yeah, did,
Well, that's
but nothing else.
all right. Committee reports, Kurt?
Nothing.
I didn't have any. Jeff?
No committees.
And I had no committees.
Item 9, receive information from county employees. Got Brian coming up. Morning, Brian.
Good morning. I want to get a little bit of an update on our Stewart Road project. We had a pre-con last week with Metro Pavers. They plan to be in next week. They're starting on the 18th, which is Monday. They're going to close down portions of Stewart Road. Right now, what they're planning to start with, which it could potentially change, they're working with some businesses down there, but is the furthest south portion. So basically from Fruitland Road north to Taylor's Market. So like I said, it could potentially change, but that's the game plan. The detour will utilize Wiggins and Pettibone. So
To mention that, I got an email from Nadine Brocker. She's one of the council members in that area, asking questions because she'd seen the signs, and I told her that. So could you maybe put the Muscatine City Council on your
Yes.
on your notification so they can see? I told her Stewart Road's going under construction. Metro Pavers is probably coming in this year. We don't know yet. You were meeting last week, and we'd let them know.
we could certainly add, I think Public Works gets it, but we'll certainly add
Yeah.
the council too.
Yeah.
Will
Very
there,
good.
will there be some detours and inconveniences probably starting through the winter into next year? What do you expect for
for duration. They're thinking that, you know, they'll potentially get done next summer, so summer of 2026. So hopefully the way it will work out is they'll get going this year. Their progress, you know, will be determined by, you know, all the factors that go into construction. And then come late in the construction season, we'll have to find a time to hopefully call it quits, button it up for the winter, and potentially open up portions of it or all of it, if we can do that.
Okay.
That would be our hope. Now, you know, weather can change quickly. We'll be watching it though, but weather can change quick, so it could certainly change that plan.
Okay.
But that's the hope.
Do they think that they'll have, you know, if things go according to plan, are they anticipating to be done, you know, early summer, late summer?
Early summer. I think that's a pretty lofty goal.
Yeah.
I think they have to, you know, there's a lot of businesses down there. Some have more foot traffic than others. It's always the contractor's option to potentially work out a deal with businesses and take it from smaller stages to make it larger stages. I think this contractor has desires to do that. It's just getting it done and getting businesses and homeowners on board with that. So, because the way we set it up is that access to every business will be maintained, at least from one direction. So typically you're not paving a business in. You pave up to about halfway through their driveway, so you're maintaining access from the other direction, from the old road, and then once your new road reaches strength and maturity, then they can utilize the new road and keep going.
Okay.
That's all I had for construction update. This weekend, received quite a bit of rain in some locations. The Durant area sounds like got hammered with several inches of rain. So right now it looks like all of the damages that we received on the county roads was mostly just gravel on our gravel roads, and then our shoulders on our paved roads. But fingers crossed, hopefully that's all the damage we find. So, but there was lots of water everywhere. So,
Yes, there was.
and you know, again, we had the staff come in and scope things out. So,
Brian, that work they did on New Era last week on that hill,
yeah,
that worked like a champ.
yeah. Did it stay?
It stayed. I
Well,
was
good.
surprised this morning. It did, but it stayed.
It seems like this summer a lot of what is taking place is we're fixing shoulders, and once we get them fixed, then another heavy rain comes and.
But you don't get enough time for it to pack in and get
Yeah.
light rains, it's just washes what you
So
just
it's
did.
starting to feel like Groundhog's Day, I'm sure, for the guys, because they're having to hit the same things.
Brian, another question on Stewart Road. After a number of the comments I've seen after the triathlon from Louisa County residents on communication of what is happening in Muscatine County, do you share with the Louisa engineer what we're doing down there so that they can communicate with their constituents?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and we definitely spoke with them on Stewart. That's a pretty major route for them.
Yeah.
And then also when we close, when we do any sort of a road closure, we send out a road notification. We use our Service Bureau, which is an online portal that all the counties belong to. If we're doing anything that we feel impacts them, we'll send it to their sheriff, their county engineer, their board of supervisors. We'll select them all.
Very good, very good. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Any other county employees?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here from the treasurer's office, and as you know, we've had struggled the last few years with staffing. In 22-23, we had 3 employees retire that had over 71 years of service. And this job takes years to learn, so we are finally fully staffed. And I just wanted to acknowledge and thank my deputies, who, both of them, since July this year, Allison now has 10 years of service, and Kim Olson has 30 years of service. So I just wanted to publicly recognize them, and I got little certificates for you. So if you would come up, please. Ms. Kim.
Well, I know we always get positive comments about the treasurer's office, their efficiency and the availability, let's put it that way.
We're excited to have a full staff again, and we think it's they're all working out really well. And we wanna encourage everybody to put in the years of service, like these guys.
Great,
Very good.
thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, girls. Any other county employees? Moving on to item 10, receive comments from the public. Anybody from the public like to speak? Seeing nobody from the public, we are adjourned at 9:21.